Hi, everybody. I'm here to talk about last night's magnificent result in Lisbon, where Rangers drew two each with the mighty Benfica. It was a great result, but it wasn't a great performance. I'll say that. It was a solid enough display. Uh, Nobody really had a brilliant game. Nobody really had a poor game. I would say the best of us was probably Silva and Yilmaz, followed closely by Sterling and Diomande and Jack Butland as well. Um, we played reasonably well. We stuck to our game plan. We showed great resilience. We got stuck in. We didn't look too uncomfortable too often. So in an away European game against a top class team like Benfica, that's a really good sign, I would say. When you think about it, Jack Butland maybe had three or four good saves. Other ones are commoner garden saves. But we rode our luck at times, especially in the second half, because I think they had 25 shots at target and only five on target, whereas we had nine attempts at goal, but equally five on target. So that sums up how well we did as opposed to their shooting. For once, apart from the few saves Jack Butland had to make, what I was crying out for after the Motherwell game was our defenders actually throwing themselves in front of the ball, blocking shots, making sure by hook or by crook the ball didn't go in the net. And we got that from practically everybody in the defence, especially Yilmaz, Suter, Golson, even Tavernier did it a couple of times. So that's what we need more of, that kind of do or die, throwing yourself in front of the shot to make sure it doesn't get to the goal. And the fact that they only had five on target shows we must have done that pretty well. Although we did rely on some bad finishing from them a couple of times, which could have brought about another goal. So we did well. Not a great performance, but a fantastic result. I'd have settled for a 1-0 defeat or a one goal defeat beforehand. And now we go into the second leg only needing to beat them to go into the quarter final. So happy days. To think back of the actual game, one of the most annoying things was that referee. For a while, I thought Willie Collum or Kevin Clancy had taken over the refereeing duties because he was just pretty poor. I mean, he booked Butland for time wasting at the penalty. You know, uh, when, he, when I've seen goalkeepers waste a lot more time than Jack Butland did. He booked Sterling for a non-foul when Sterling stretched out, got the ball. His leg went between the two legs or the 2 feet of Otamendi, who's a Ned himself, and he went flying through the air like Kyogo on a windy day. So Sterling got booked for that, which was a nonsense. Di Maria, meanwhile, got booked for practically assaulting Yilmaz as he was running past him up the park. I think he sort of pushed him in the neck or the head, and then he did another foul in the second half where he should have been booked. Second booking, red card, but no, the referee ducked out of it and didn't even book him. So the referee was pathetic. As I say, he's right up there with the worst of the Scottish referees. And while we're on such comparisons, the red of Benfica, I thought, had turned into the red of Aberdeen because most of their players were moaning and groaning at the referee all the time, trying to pressurise them, going down at the least tackle when they hadn't been touched, or even if they had been touched, going down as if they'd been shot, rolling about in agony. Di Maria, yet again, doing that, one especially inside the box when he was trying to con the referee into giving him a penalty. So, all that kind of nonsense. Couldn't take tackles, dishing it out though, leaving the foot in and fouling you when they had to. So, it could have been Aberdeen, apart from the fact they showed a lot more skill, obviously, than Aberdeen have ever done. So those two factors made it even better that we managed to get away with a draw and a great chance of progressing into the quarter-finals. To think of the actual game itself, ironically, they could have scored just before we did score the first goal early on. First 5 minutes, it was all pressure from them. Tavernier was actually fouled just outside our box. Referee play on, and the guy who fouled him takes it forward a couple of yards and then hit a decent shot, which Butland did well to dive to his right and parry away. And ironically, as I say, a couple of minutes later, we run up the other end and score a goal. Great goal. 2-1-2s between Silva and Diomande. Diomande gets to the byline, chips a lovely cross right onto the penalty spot, and there's Lawrence ghosting in, nobody near him, and perfection with the head, just guiding it into the right hand corner. Goalkeeper no chance. So fantastic goal, 1-0 up. Things are looking really good, and as you would expect, Benfica started to press us. We defended reasonably well. We had a couple of scares, obviously, as you're going to get in these sort of games. The worst one was Butland's best save, and it came when he was lying down on the deck, because a shot kind of hit somebody, bounced up in the air. I think it was the centre forward was ready just to bundle it into the net. Butland lying on the ground, a yard out from his goal line, somehow he managed to just stretch up and grab the ball before the guy could bundle it into the net. What a save that was. Everybody thought that was a certain equaliser. So that was Butland's best save. When the equaliser came near the end of the first half, it was a a non-penalty, one of these handballs that has people tearing their hair out. If I had any hair, I would have been doing that, because corner kick, Suter goes up in amongst a bundle of players, heads it onto his own arm, and it bounces away. And after a VAR check, it's given as a penalty. Now, Suter jumps up and heads it, and he heads it onto his own arm, which is a foot away or whatever, 2 feet away, and that's given as a penalty. Absolute nonsense. Little creep Di Maria puts it in the net, one each. So we're disappointed at that. But then, a couple of minutes later, just before the end of the extra time, another great move. The ball goes out to our left. Tavernier, don't know what he's doing out there. He pounces on it, hits it forward to Silva. He actually turns back on it, and somehow his low cross into the box goes by maybe three, I think it was about 3 Benfica players just missed it. One, I think it went between one's legs, and 2 others just missed it. Drossers, who'd done nothing, of course, he stretches his leg backwards and thankfully misses it, because running in from the edge of the box unseen is Sterling, of all people, and he just puts it into the net as if he's a striker. As if he's not. Drossers, obviously. So 2-1 up at half time, looking good again. Second half, they had more of the pressure. I think they ended up with about 68% possession overall, but they had most of the pressure, few chances, misses, blocks from us, a couple of saves from Butland, and all was looking good until the free kick given away by Yilmaz, maybe his only mistake of the evening. Crossed in by Di Maria into the box. We had 4 Rangers players in a line, not a Benfica guy anywhere near them, and they could just let it go, and it's a by kick. Golson decides to head it, but not head it out the way, head it into his own net. So absolute disaster, terrible own goal, really was a terrible own goal. Should never have happened. There was no danger whatsoever. Lack of communication between either the goalie and the 4 Rangers players ahead of him, or the Rangers players themselves not knowing who was going to attack it or what they were going to do with it. So 2 each, pathetic goal to lose, especially to throw away a potential win. But 2 each at the end, I suppose we would have taken that. I would have taken that gleefully if I'd been told that was going to be the score before the game kicked off. So a great result, not a brilliant performance, but competent, good European tactics. We weren't sitting back and letting them hit us on the whole time, or just keeping possession where we could. We didn't do that as well as we can. We should have kept possession better, but we were up against it. 4 wingers out for a start, so we'd no width apart from Silva on one side, the left side, and Sterling on the right hand side, and of course nothing in the middle because Drossers was there. Absolutely anonymous. We could have played that game without him and it wouldn't have made any difference. Absolutely hopeless. So great result. Looking forward to next week when we should hopefully qualify for the quarterfinals, and by that time be in the semis of the Scottish Cup.